What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Leadoff Show. This is June 12th. We got a 7-game MLB slate tonight on Draftkings. Going to be interesting for sure. There's a few good pitchers at the top, and then not anything else after that. So we can break it down, see what we like, see what we can find. Plate IQ got an overhaul, so we can check that out here in a minute. Real quick, just wanted to show the weather. Colorado, Boston, don't see anything heavy enough to stop play, but this is something to keep our eye on. Paxton's probably the top pitcher on this slate, so a lot of focus will be here on this game. But we can go ahead and get started. Gonna try to get through everything a little bit quicker today. First game's Colorado versus Boston, 3.79 total for the Rockies, 6.21 for the Red Sox. Connor Seabold, 5.4K versus James Paxton, 9.3K. Gonna be out on Seabold. Real quick, I guess I can show you this is still free. So if you don't pay for a subscription anywhere, I highly recommend using this. Ton of good data on Plate IQ, so you can see the URL up top there. But definitely come check this out. But it's might take me a minute to find where everything's at again. But we can start looking at it. But yeah, low. I'll do like this up here. You can see all the team stuff up here. So yeah, low strikeout rate for the Red Sox, 21%. Seabold, low strikeout pitcher in his own right, just under 17%. So no interest in Seabold. As for Paxton, I think he's going to be the top pitcher on the slate. He's had some really good outings the last few times out. You can see here, though, huge K rates versus righties. So really reverse splits. Should see a bunch of righties here. McMahon and Jones are the only lefties he'll see, but I mean, still good overall. That is a little concerning. The ISO is very surprising against lefties, but I mean, it is a really small sample size, so maybe that will kind of even itself out. Let's see, we can get all this on one page now. See if the game logs will load. Yeah, you can see pitches. You can get a lot high pitch count. 8 strikeouts, 8 and 9 the last 2 games. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. Point total on the side. So, all right, I'll probably just stay on the dashboard for the most part. But yeah, I think Paxton's our top pitcher today. The weather is a little bit of a concern. I think it is wind blowing out too. Yeah, 8-mile-per-hour wind blowing out to left field. Looking here at these, swapping over to the Rockies hitters, Paxton will be probably 50+% owned. So if you fade him and want to take a few of these Rockies bats, I think Tovar is an option. I mean, it's high K rate, but you just hope he doesn't strike out here. Grichuk would be my favorite hitter, though. I mean, 6% K rate versus lefties is insane for him, especially. And then, like I said, these lefties, I would probably lean Nolan Jones. McMahon, 40% K rate, struggles versus lefties, but Jones is good both sides. Really small sample size, but he's been good so far against lefties. I really like that. I think Tovar, Grichuk, and Jones as kind of minis. I don't think I do a full stack here. Paxton, I mean, bad start for him at this chalk would be, probably 4 Ks or something, but still, around 3 or 4 runs. I don't expect him to, to be much worse than that. So maybe just a couple Rockies, if anything. Red Sox, though, I think are probably going to be maybe like the top 3 projected team for the day. Seabold's just really bad. We can see here. Let's see. So we got last year and this year here. So I guess it's been a little bit better this year, looking at how bad last year was, but still bad, especially versus righties. Really struggles. He's going to see a good mix here of righties and lefties. Verdugo, Yoshi, looks like Turner's been struggling versus righties this year, so I'll probably skip over him. Duvall's back healthy. So I think Verdugo, Yoshida, Devers, Duvall, Casas. Then if you need one of these 3 guys at the bottom to make it work, I'm fine with that for your full stack. But I definitely like the Red Sox here, especially with this weather. I think it's good hitting environment, so I think the Red Sox makes for a good play here. All right, next game we have Giants Cardinals, 4.19 total for the Giants, 3.81 for the Cardinals. Logan Webb, 10.3K versus Matthew Liberatore, 6.4K. Webb is probably the kind of odd man out up top. We have Paxton at 9.3K. Eflin at 11K versus Oakland. Webb right there versus the Cardinals at 10.3. Bryce Miller 10K versus the Marlins. Luzardo 9.6 versus the Mariners. So I think Webb probably going to come in lower owned out of that group. And so you can see here it's 21% K rate versus for the Cardinals. So a pretty low K rate for this team. Webb's Ks have been up this year. You can see the difference, 25% for this year compared to 20% for last year. I think he'd probably be a pivot only for me. If you end up on kind of one of the chalkier bats or one of the chalkier stacks, maybe go from, if you can afford it, Luzardo to Webb or Paxton to Webb. But just know maybe the upside might be a little limited just because of this K rate for the Cardinals. Even if Webb does good, I would expect him to have around 5Ks or so. As for Liberator, he's in a great spot here versus the Giants. Really high K rate versus lefties, but they just do not let him go far. Let's see if we can pull up his game log. Doesn't show innings, but I think he's usually around kind of 5 inning max, really. I'm not sure. I guess it might just be more of who he is, the way he pitches, that he can't go too deep. Yeah, 4 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings. But it looks like his pitch count is up around 90 to 95. So I don't have too much interest, but with that being said, that price tag, 6.4K, he's kind of the only one to love under Paxton at 9.3. So if you have to go cheap, I could see going to Liberator, but I'm going to try to pay up twice at pitching today. As for the Giants bats, let's see if anything stands out. Flores is probably going to get pinched hit for. Slater will probably get pinched hit for Yaz or Peterson. So I think just JD Davis is kind of the only one I'd really have interest in. Haniger, I'm still just kind of waiting for him to turn it around. I think JD Davis would kind of be my only one-off, but don't have a lot of interest in the Giants bats here. I think Liberator will probably go 4 or 5 decent innings, and then he's you're stuck facing the Cardinals pen, which looks like we now have a bullpen as well. Yeah, it looks like the bullpen's been really solid this year. So no interest in really a full stack for the Giants here. All right, next game we have, I guess we can touch on the Cardinals real quick. Probably going to be out. Webb's good enough. Like we said, his Ks might not be there to pay off at 10.3K. Some of these guys, Nolan Gorman's been having a really good year. His K rate's really high though. Carlson's not a bad play. Yeah, I really like Carlson's price. So I can see maybe going that, if anything. But that's about it. I'm not really trying to attack Webb. He's a pretty good ground ball pitcher. And if I can, I like to look at the ground ball rate and stuff for pitchers. There we go. I just have to scroll down further. Yeah, pretty big ground ball guy. So I don't love the really Indy one for the Cardinals. Carlson maybe, but that's still kind of a long shot. I think I'd rather just go somewhere else. All right, next game we got Angels Rangers. 4.23 for the Angels, 5.27 for the Rangers. Tyler Anderson 6.8K versus Dane Dunning 6.1K. For Anderson at 6.8, I think I'd rather just go to Liberator. He's just more K upside himself, and he's in a better K matchup. Yeah, 22% here for the Rangers against lefties, so pretty low K rate, and that's probably around league average or slightly better. Not a lot of interest here on Anderson. Look at that, 14% K rate this year, so no interest at all for Anderson. For Dunning on the other side, he's been pretty solid this year actually, but just doesn't really go deep into games. He has a low K rate also. I think it's another one of those things, just play Liberator. It's kind of what I mentioned when we were on him. There's not a lot to love down here in the 6K range. So I think just take Liberator. As for the bats, for the Angels, the roof is closed. I don't love stacking here in Texas. Full stack here. Not too much is jumping out. There's just so many holes in this lineup. Ward, I thought had been really good versus righties so far this year, but numbers don't really suggest that. I guess you can see the points here now as well. So if you're still unpaid, definitely use Plate IQ for sure. I think I would probably just stick to maybe like Ohtani, Theis, Drury, and Renfroe. If you want to make that a full stack and throw in Neto because you need a cheap shortstop or something, I'd be fine with that at 2.7K. So I think that's kind of all I would do. The Angels are kind of a like distant stack that I'll consider. If I really just end up on Paxton Luzardo or something like that, like something chalky at pitcher, I could see going to the Angels. But outside that, I'm probably out. The price on Rendon, 3.4K, is certainly interesting, but he's been bad this year. But that price, I think I would include him in that mix. So Ohtani, Rendon, Nice, Drury, Renfroe, and Neto. I'd stack 5 of those 6 guys, and I guess even Ward at 3.2K is interesting. So whatever you can build with the Angels, I don't mind it, but they should be kind of off the board today. Rangers on the other side versus Anderson, certainly like them. They're probably right there with the Red Sox as like one of the top stacks, I would think. Anderson's just been so bad. I don't even know if game log shows like runs or anything. Let's see. Yeah, you can see there. Giving up at least 3 runs in all but 2 starts this year. 4 starts. Go back to his first start of the year. So really like the Rangers here. Price wise though, they might be hard to pay for. If you pay up for 2 9K pitchers. I mean, you can just see here all this green on the side of the Rangers. So really whatever you can fit in, I'd be okay with. Probably out on Nathaniel Lowe, just lefty. Yeah, but you can look at Anderson's number share against righties, really high. ISO and WOBA. So I think, yeah, any of these guys are in play. I really like Garver if he's in there, and good to see him back. He's always a catcher I like to play. So Rangers are a top stack, right there with the Red Sox, I think, if you want to go there tonight. Next game, we have Reds, Royals. 4.38 total for the Reds, 4.62 for the Royals. Luke Weaver, 7.5K versus Zach Greinke, 7K. Weaver, I guess, is in consideration today just because of his matchup. The Royals have been really bad this year. You can see some of their K rates are just kind of crazy. 27% K rate with their projected lineup right now. Weaver's been a little bit better, really good versus righties actually. Oh, strikeout wise, ISO still crazy. K percentage versus righties has been pretty well. It looks like Pasquantino will be out still, so and Prado, Melendez, Massey will be the only lefties he's facing. Those lefties have high K rates. So I think Weaver's in play with the weather. Yeah, 70 blowing in. I think is close enough to kind of what we're seeing. I guess he's pulled from 2 different places. But I think Weaver's in play. If you want to go under the top guys, you probably just decide between Weaver and Liberator. It's certainly risky, but him being out of Cincinnati will help. Pitching in Cincinnati is going to be tough. He got lit up by the Dodgers there, but see at Boston he had 12-point outing. Versus the Cardinals, he had a pretty good day. Yankees at home, that's going to be tough. At Miami, we've seen him have a good day. So I think the strikeouts are there. He can get 5+. I would prefer to pay up twice, but if you have to go below that, he's in play for sure. As for Greinke, probably just out. I mean, the Ks just aren't there. I mean, 18% K rate, which is big upgrade or big change from last year for almost 50% increase. But I think just play Weaver or Liberator. I don't think there's any reason to get too cute and try to play Greinke on this slate. It's just not worth it. I could see him getting 10 to 14 points, but that's not going to win you anything. As for the Reds, let me check the prices on them real quick. I know De La Cruz is creeping up. They've had a few good series in a row, so I feel like their prices are probably getting up there a little bit. I'm probably out on the Reds full stack. Greinke just seems to kind of limit these massive games. He hadn't really got just completely destroyed yet this year. Miami got him for 5, but after that, look at that. I mean, a lot of like 0, 1s, and 2s in there. So I could see the Reds getting 2 or 3 runs here, and you're just kind of guessing on where it's coming from. The prices make it tough. Maybe just a mini stack here. I could see going like De La Cruz and Stevenson, or something there in the middle. De La Cruz and Will Benson maybe, especially if Benson gets a good leadoff spot. But really, just trying to pick a lefty out against Greinke if you go anywhere. As for the Royals, showed these numbers for Weaver. He does a lot of Ks versus righties, but really high ISO numbers. So Makes me like Sal Perez, especially here in this spot. Looking at if anybody else jumps out. I think a few of them are always in play. Cheap. I think they're really cheap too on this slate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Melendez 3K, that's too low for him. And then all these guys 5 down are 2.6K or less. So I think the Royals might be kind of popular just with their pricing against Weaver. I tend to steer away. We kind of showed it. Weaver's good. Good K rate versus righties, and then these lefties that he's going to face have high K rate. So I'm leaning more on the Weaver side, which is crazy with me being a Royals lover. But I'm probably out on the Royals full stack. But if you want to take a few of them, I certainly understand. All right, let's see what we got next. We got a few games left. Next one is Rays. A's, 5.38 total for the Rays, 3.12 for the A's. Zach Eflin, 11K. Versus James Caprillion, 5.2K. Eflin's certainly going to be right there with Paxton, I think, as the top projected and top owned pitcher on the slate. The 11K price tag might help out a little bit, though. Maybe more people go to Paxton just with that price tag. But I mean, yeah, the A's have won a few games in a row, but that doesn't worry me here. They are getting a little bit better. Seth Brown in there helps out a lot. Big power guy. But he also kind of adds to their K rate. So Eflin is certainly in play. The 11K price tag on him is kind of tough. Kind of surprised by that a little bit. You see what he just did to Minnesota last time out. The strikeouts have kind of been all over the place. The Blue Jays had 0 strikeouts. So just straight upside, I think I would lean Paxton. Just price tag, like chances I would play him, I would lean Paxton. But I think Eflin makes for a good, good play for sure. I mean, if you can afford the 11K, try to get him in there. You probably can't afford some of these more expensive bats if you go to Eflin, so maybe that keeps his owner check around like 30% or so. But I mean, it's obvious here. I mean, these high K rates for the A's. Eflin's such a good pitcher, great pitching stadium here in Oakland. So Eflin is right there with Paxton, I think, as the top 2 pitchers on the slate. As for Caprillion, gonna be out on him. Just not worth it here. Super low K rate for the Rays overall, outside of a couple hitters. We know what they can do power wise. And Caprillion under 19% K rate, so gonna be out there. As for the Rays bats, they might go overlooked here in Oakland, just because it is a pitcher's park. But Caprillion's terrible. So I certainly like the Rays here. Let's see. The only problem is trying to afford these guys. I feel like I haven't played them that much just because of their price tags. Obviously, I'd love to get Wander Franco if I could afford him. And then maybe just a couple of these guys in the middle. I don't know if I can afford the full stack against Caprillion, which is the kind of a bummer. But I could see going Wander, Paredes, Rayleigh, or something like that. And maybe even Siri. Maybe mix and match, 1 to 3 of those guys. Certainly would be in play. As for the A's, they'll be unowned. Even if people don't play Eflin, they're not going to play Oakland. I'm not really sure you should either. Eflin's been pretty solid. Let's see what the Rays bullpen has looked like. I imagine it's good. Yeah, pretty good. Kind of a lower K rate than I expected. Way down from last year. So probably just average, actually, after looking at that. But still no interest in the A's. I mean, you can always chase a couple bats like Noda or Brown. Or hope Ruiz gets on and steals 3 bags or something. But you kind of taking a long shot there. So I'm probably out. It'd be Seth Brown, I guess, if anything. 2.8K is nice. If you don't go Eflin, maybe just like one of these guys. But that's as much as I would get of Oakland. The Oakland's bullpen real quick. Yeah, not great. Look like they're better versus lefties, but not great overall. All right. We got 2 games left. Next one's Phillies Diamondbacks. 5 total for the Phillies, 5 for the Diamondbacks. Matt Strom is an opener in this one, 7.9K. Versus Tommy Henry, 6.2K. Going to be out on Strom. I think he is just an opener, so he'll probably go 2 or 3 innings. And then Dylan Covey is supposed to come in. So yeah, no interest in Strom. Just play Liberatore or Weaver or one of these other guys in that price range. He's been really good. If we got word that he was going without a leash, I'd be interested, but not worth it here when he's going to open against a good team like the Diamondbacks. As for Tommy Henry, no interest in him either. Tough spot here against the Phillies for him. Is a low strikeout pitcher, so no interest in Henry. As for the Phillies, I do like them a lot. They're probably a tier down from like the Rangers, Rays, and Red Sox, I would think. But in my opinion, I think they certainly belong right in that mix. Looks like Bohm's back. That's good to see, especially versus a lefty. Harper's been terrible versus lefties this year. I wouldn't expect that to continue, but that's certainly hard to ignore. You can see if we change it to last season, 191, 355. This year he's just been terrible so far. I know it's a small sample size, but it might kind of be my lone man out. But I mean, fading Harper is certainly risky. But if I had to choose between Schwarber or Harper, I would just take Schwarber. He's crushed lefties this year. Batting leadoff, seems like he's been doing better since he's been batting leadoff too. Turner's and Castellanos have been good lately. Bowman there, Sosa kind of give you some cheaper options. See what Bowman's price is. Yeah, 3.4 for him. Sosa 2.3. So I really like the Phillies here in the slate. Probably one of my favorite stacks. I think I might end up going there even over like they might be more affordable than the Rays, I think. Rangers, I don't really love stacking in that ballpark. So probably kind of be Phillies, Red Sox for me. If I was to pick as like my favorite stack of the day. So just see what you can afford. I think they got enough cheaper pieces in there to make it work. As for the Diamondbacks, I hate really taking hitters in a opener spot because you don't really know. The matchups are usually kind of tough. Just with, lefties starting, the batting order might flip, and then they'll bring in the righty. Strom's been pretty good, but I don't think Covey's been very good. Let me see if we can check Covey. I think he's the one that's coming in after. So yeah, you can say he's been pretty bad. Maybe you kind of plan for when Covey gets in there. Marte being a switch hitter would be fine. Obviously, he'll get the platoon split versus both sides. Gurriel and Walker, if they're in there, I like that. Emmanuel Rivera might sub out though after the opener's out. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about is if they start playing matchups and sub people out or something like that. So I think like 1 to 3 of the top 4 hitters I would have interest in. But that's probably it. I don't think I'm going to full stack here in a bullpen game. All right, next game we got Marlins Mariners, 3.57 total for the Marlins, 3.93 for the Mariners. Jesus Luzardo 9.6K versus Bryce Miller 10K. I think Luzardo's going to be kind of right there with Paxton Eflin as a top pitcher on this slate. He's had a ton of strikeouts lately. I think we can show it real quick. Yeah, 8-8-7, 8-7 his last 5 games, and here against the Mariners is certainly a huge strikeout matchup. You can see here, 32% K rate versus lefties this year is absolutely nuts. I could see Luzardo getting 10 strikeouts, but giving up 3 runs here in this spot. But I don't mind that at all. I think the strikeouts are just too hard to ignore. You can see here, his numbers dominated lefties. Crawford and Kalinick will be there. Should be in there no matter what. Righties still high K rate. They can get to him a little bit of power. But I think we still just go there. You just hold your breath, hope he can get through without too many home runs or something, or that he can keep his walks in check before a big home run. But the strikeouts are hard to ignore. So I really like Luzardo today. As for Bryce Miller, really good pitcher. It's just a kind of a low K matchup against the Marlins. He's kind of struggled with strikeouts himself lately, so I think I'm going to be out. He's 9K or 10K if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 10K. So I think I'm just going to be out. Play Luzardo or play Paxton, play Eflin, play Logan Webb. Bryce Miller's going to be the odd man out of that 10K group. As for the Marlins, really like Jesus Sanchez. Obviously, his power numbers are jumping out to me. I was playing him just about every day before he got hurt. I don't think I'd go full stack. Some of their good hitters are just too expensive. But I really like Sanchez as a one-off. As for the Mariners, you certainly can take a couple home run shots. You can see the numbers here for Teoscar and Kalinick. Super high K rate, but if they get a hold of one, it's probably going out. So Rodriguez, France, Teoscar, Kalinick. I mean, it's leverage for sure. Price on Teoscar is really nice. I think he'd probably be my one-off if I don't play Luzardo. And you want to throw Teoscar in there. Hope he runs into one. I'd be fine with that. All right, that does it for this slate. Real quick, I think the top pitchers are Paxton, Eflin, and Luzardo. If you want to pivot off that, I think Webb's in a decent spot too. Kind of a tough K matchup, but we've seen him, have really good starts this year. You need to go cheaper. I think the only guys you're considering are Weaver and Liberator. I don't really have interest in anybody else, kind of under the 9K range. So I think I would just go to those guys. For hitters, I think, I think Red Sox for sure against Seabold. Rangers against Anderson could be interesting if you can afford them. They might be tough to afford. Royals are super cheap, so if you pay up twice, you might end up there. But I think I'm not as warm on the Royals as maybe everyone else is. Rays kind of in that Rangers mold where if you can afford them, they're nice, but it might be tough to pay for a 5-stack. And I really like the Phillies here against the Diamondbacks. So, all right, hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or something. I can try to get to them and answer them. If you don't use Plate IQ, it got a massive overhaul. There's all kinds of data here, and it's still free. So as long as it's free, I'll continue to show it on this page. You can start seeing the fantasy points now too that they have in there, which is crazy that they're giving that away for free. So if you don't use Plate IQ, I certainly would start. So hope this helps, guys, and I'll see you at the top.